Do you do this? Someone compliments you, your hair, what you're wearing, the job you're doing, and you shrug it off. Oh, I need a haircut so bad. Or this old thing, or I'm sure someone else could have done it much better. You're embarrassed or uncomfortable, so you deflect the compliment and try to move on as fast as possible. I think people pleasers, more than any other group of people, suck at accepting and receiving compliments. And why is this? Part of it, for me, I didn't hear compliments growing up. It was rare that I remember hearing a compliment. So it just doesn't feel normal. It's not something that I grew up learning how to accept and just say thank you. What about you? Did you receive compliments when you were young? And then we were taught, many of us, to not brag, don't be selfish, don't talk about yourself, or don't even think about yourself, right? That was arrogant or rude. So we were taught to not think too highly of ourselves and to always think of other people, to put them first. So now receiving a compliment feels a little bit like it's breaking those rules. It feels wrong because it goes against a lot of the things that we were taught. And in a way, it's almost like we've learned to limit our feel-good capacity. And then add in low self-worth, low self-esteem, which many people pleasers struggle with. And these compliments contradict deep down what we've believed about ourselves for years. And so it's easier just to trust that old belief than to think that this new information, this compliment, is valid. And it becomes, as people pleasers, an automatic impulse to think that we don't deserve this positive feedback. There have been times that I have thought before, someone's lying just to make me feel good. I'm curious, have you ever thought that before? I would love for you to comment if you have. Let me know that me and anyone else that's thought that we're not alone. A couple things happened to me recently that punctuated this whole compliment thing and how difficult it is, even after years of working on myself, how easy it is to fall back into old patterns, these old beliefs that don't serve us, but that run basically the show, right? These old beliefs are what are driving the bus. So one thing that happened recently, I went to yoga, and my yoga instructor after class said, "You have a great yoga practice." And instead of receiving her compliment and saying thank you, my response was to deflect it and say, "Oh, I haven't been to class for so long." And I recognized later that I was basically, my response to her basically was saying, "Oh, that can't be true because I haven't been to yoga for so long," right? I just deflected completely her compliment. I didn't receive it. I didn't let it in. Another thing that happened recently was I went to my chiropractor and I was just wearing an old comfy shirt that I love. It's a good brand, but it gets wrinkled really easily and I don't iron it. And my chiropractor, she said, "Oh my gosh, I love this shirt." I don't even think I replied to her, but inside I thought, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed because this thing is so old and it's so wrinkled." So I didn't receive the compliment and my brain automatically went to what's wrong, right? There's something wrong. So what's happening here? Why does this happen? Think about it. When you are complimented, you end up being in the spotlight, right? That's how it feels, is that all eyes are on you. The light is shining on you. And as people pleasers, we're used to shining the light on other people. We're not used to the spotlight being on us. And most of us were taught, if you were taught this to put other people first, then you were taught to always think about them and that it's always about other people. So again, a compliment ends up being like a spotlight on us, and it's uncomfortable. It feels vulnerable. Another thing that's happening is that a compliment creates internal conflict. What do I mean by that? If you identify as someone, as a people pleaser, and therefore probably as I'm not good enough, then the compliment doesn't fit the story that you've either been told about yourself or that you've been telling yourself about yourself. And so it creates this internal conflict that compliment just can't be true. So the brain tries to decrease the discomfort by dismissing the compliment instead of just taking it in as a positive part of your self-image. The brain looks for evidence against why this can't be true. Instead of saying, could this possibly be true? And that was me, right? My brain automatically went to, oh, that can't be true because I haven't been to yoga for so long. Another thing that's happening here is that people pleasers sometimes trust criticism more because criticism for many of us feels more familiar from our past than compliments do, than praise does. Compliments feel a little suspicious because they don't match up with that core belief that we have about ourselves. Another hidden belief, so another thing that's happening here is that many of us feel like if I seem confident and accept this compliment, then that appears as if I like myself. And that would be arrogant, right? That goes back to us being taught how we shouldn't be arrogant or brag about ourselves or think too highly of ourselves. And because of that, then we think that if we just say thank you, that we will be judged or rejected or criticized for being too much, like she's too full of herself. So deflecting compliments ends up being a form of self-protection. It feels safer to minimize myself than to risk being rejected. We tell ourselves that this is being humble or modest, but this isn't humility. Not accepting compliments is not healthy humility. Healthy humility is knowing your strengths without thinking that you're better than. But when we put ourselves down or we deflect these compliments, that's basically self-deprecation. And that is pretending that our strengths don't exist. We all have strengths, right? And someone complimenting us is just them appreciating that strength in us. So accepting a compliment isn't you saying that you're perfect or you being boastful. It's accepting that someone appreciated something about you. It's them saying they notice this strength in you. When someone compliments you, it's like they're giving you a gift, a small gift. And you deflecting it is basically you rejecting that gift. And that ends up feeling like a disconnection with that person. It's definitely an opportunity missed for a connection by not just saying thank you. But people pleasers are excellent at seeing flaws, right? We see every wrinkle, every mistake, every imperfection. And others, the person that's giving us the compliment, they're seeing the whole picture while we're zoomed in on this tiny little defect. So if you grew up being a people pleaser and putting everyone else first and being taught that it was bad to think too highly of yourself, then you think that deflecting a compliment is you being humble, you not being arrogant. Deflecting compliments almost seems like a social habit, but what it really is something very internal. Deflecting compliments is you judging yourself internally, and it is you rejecting yourself before anybody else has a chance to. Ouch, right? So, what if we could just let compliments land? What if we could just receive them like the gift that they are? Is it going to feel uncomfortable at first? Probably, because we aren't used to doing that. If you aren't used to being in the spotlight and accepting and receiving the spotlight, then it's going to feel uncomfortable. And that's mostly because it's not familiar and it feels wrong. It feels maybe a little bit unsafe to just say thank you. But a couple of ways that you can do it. And I get some great ideas from this guy, Jefferson Fisher. He wrote this book called The Next Conversation. And I'll put the link to that book down in the description of this video. A couple of ways that you can start accepting compliments without making it a big deal. The first way is to say how the compliment made you feel. And I don't mean to go into a dissertation about it. Just say, thank you, that makes me feel good. That's simple, right? Thank you, that makes me feel good. Another way is to tell them what it means to you. Again, no dissertation, just thank you, that means a lot to me. Or thank you, I appreciate you noticing. The most authentic way to receive a compliment is to simply say thank you. No explanation, no deflecting, no qualification, no dismissing. Just thank you. Do you struggle with accepting compliments? Remember earlier in the video when I said that most of that is because of a core belief that we have about ourselves that keeps us from being able to just receive the compliment. And if so, I invite you to join the inner circle where I have what I think is the best video in there. It's a deep dive video that goes into why we believe the things we do and how those things impact the behaviors and the actions and the things that we struggle with in our life. Learning what I share in that one video changed my life. The video will help you see clearly things that are keeping you stuck, that aren't serving you in your life. The membership is just $6 a month. You can join for a month, watch all the videos that are in there, and then leave or stay for a year. It's all up to you. It's an invitation, not an obligation. But I would love to support you more fully inside the Inner Circle membership. You can click the join button that's below this video to get more information. And if you want more videos on people pleasing, then you can watch the playlist that's on the screen right now. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.